Jimmy Kimmel's not some crazy person who would wish the president to be killed. He just would not do that.
Would I have said it? No. I wouldn't have said something like that about any president. But guess what? That's what happens at these roasts.
Jimmy's a comedian, and I would argue that Caroline Leavitt didn't mean shots should be fired, right? She was making a joke. Fair enough. So I look at that side and go, well, jokes are jokes, but the rhetoric, I think, is a little dangerous, and we've seen it a lot lately.
Okay, that's members of the media and actor George Clooney talking about ABC's Jimmy Kimmel and his vile joke about First Lady Melania Trump having the, quote, glow of an expected widow just days before the third assassination attempt on President Trump. For a reaction, let's welcome Media Research Center Vice President Dan Schneider. So what do you make of this? What if Jimmy Kimmel said that Michelle Obama, Benny Johnson and I were talking about this, Michelle Obama has the expectant glow of a widow. Hillary Clinton has the expectant glow of a widow. Jill Biden has the expectant glow of a widow. How would that go down?
Well, obviously, Disney would not permit such conversation to take place for those individuals. But Liz, this gets to the point. Disney is just about the largest, most lucrative welfare recipient on the planet. It is given massive value from the taxpayers, from the American people, to have these monopolies all over the country. But in exchange for these licenses, these monopolies, they have to serve the public interest. And so we've got an excellent FCC chairman who is going to try to make sure that the public is getting the benefit of the bargain. If we're giving Disney and all of its ABC broadcast affiliates this great value, we deserve value in return.
Okay, so FCC Chair Brendan Carr, he's calling for Disney to file early for its broadcast license renewal for its ABC TV station. He's citing an ongoing investigation that started last year about Disney's DEI practices for potential violations of the Communications Act of 1934. Okay, so what do you make of that? Critics are saying the FCC is using this probe to go after Disney because of Kimmel and ABC.
Well, look, no corporation in America is allowed to discriminate based on race. That is against the law. If Brendan Carr is questioning that, that's a legitimate question. We also know that these broadcast affiliates have a requirement, a legal requirement to serve the public interest. If ABC is not doing that, then it really is at risk of losing its licenses.
So how does that run up against Jimmy Kimmel's free speech rights and ABC's free speech rights?
Liz, perfect question. Jimmy Kimmel has free speech rights. ABC Corporation also has free speech rights. They can say whatever they want so long as it doesn't violate the law. But when they're using their broadcasters, when they speak through their broadcast stations, their broadcast affiliates, they have to meet that public interest test. If they don't want to do that, they don't need to take the welfare payment in the form of these licenses for free.
So the public interest argument that you're saying, how far can that go?
Look, the FCC has to make a determination in each case. You know, if you're the ABC affiliate in Topeka, Kansas, the question is, does that Topeka, Kansas affiliate meet the public interest of that community? It's a community-by-community test.
Got it. Dan Schneider, thank you so much. Really interesting. Come back soon. We love talking to you.